Lucy says, I've been having a gentle Kundalini rising for about 2 years, and now I can feel the energy in my head. What can I expect next? Any advice? Great, great. Well, it's nice to hear that it's made it up to your head, Lucy. What can you expect next? So typically when the energy makes its way into the head, this is where we begin to have these, what we would call shifts in perception, shifts in the way that we understand ourselves and our relationship to the rest of the world. So states of oneness, deep states of meditation, feeling interconnected to all that is. These are the phenomena and the shifts that can happen once the energy reaches the head. They don't necessarily have to be stable, meaning you may have one experience where, you look around and everything is one, and it's like, okay, some significant stuff is happening up in my head. But then the next day or the next moment even, you may not feel this deep interconnectedness. Eventually it becomes a little bit more stable as we move forward. We can also begin to experience, if it's in the cards for us, some interesting psychic phenomena, healing gifts, what we may call siddhis, heightened intuition, heightened creativity, all the cerebral, intellectual, mind-based stuff can start to happen once you reach the head. We may also experience, more traditionally, I haven't experienced this myself, it's not for everybody, but some experience quite literally like what they would describe as a lotus blooming at the top of their head, which is, of course, the 1,000-petal lotus. We see that in, depictions in Buddhism. There's these individual petals in the head, actually, which are like these sort of energetic kind of chakra type things, the petals. They associate that with, each petal has a different skill or ability or something like that. Don't want to get too much into these types of skills and abilities and things because they can get a little bit sticky and cause some trouble. But these things can happen. You may also no longer, once it really reaches the top of your head and stabilize, you may not be able to feel the top of your head anymore. It's almost like it's been blasted open. So I can't really feel the top of my head. It's kind of like it's been chopped off. If I touch it, yeah, but generally it's kind of just like open. That can happen. Any advice for when the energy reaches up in the head? Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, is because many people can become ungrounded as the energy moves into the head. So when I say ungrounded, I refer to unbalanced. And so what I like to say is we can kind of become like a bobblehead, those little figurines with the huge head just bobbling. It's kind of like that. So much energy up in the head, and we can sometimes quite literally be shaking and bobbling, but we also have that type of feeling as we move through the world of like bouncing around, like anxiety, sort of like we can't hold our attention, racing thoughts, sort of what we may call mania or manic, very ungrounded. So how do we manage that? The intention isn't to drain the energy from the head, because we do want some of the benefits of having the energy up in the head. Like I described, you do want to feel these expansive states, but we want to also feel balanced. So we ground ourselves through bringing attention to the body, moving in the body, exercise, eating well. Practical thing you can do, everybody can do, is very safe. You could just put the tip of your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, just behind the two front teeth. So that closes the energetic channel between the top of the head, and the energy can flow into the neck and down. You may perceive it if you're sensitive, you may not, but it's just a good practice to have, and you can do it almost all the time. You can train yourself to just keep your tongue up there. Remembering our feet. Sometimes when we get a little bit too much energy up in the head, we can think that it's all about the head. And I would invite people to remember, your feet are as spiritual as the head. So we bring attention to the rest of the body. But in time, this will all balance itself out. You may have some challenges along the way, but it'll balance itself out.